What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the After Action Report for our final game of Season 3, Phase 3 of our Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Reports, end of 2024, all that sort of great stuff. We capped it off with a great little battle, the Avengers versus S.H.I.E.L.D., replicating the nice little climactic fight from Civil War there. And it was a slaughter. It was a slaughter. Everyone but Ant-Man for the Avengers got knocked down.
Yep.
Tony just gave all the biggest guns to everyone on the team.
On the other hand, Tony definitely was sleeping at the end of the fights. He wasn't down, but he was definitely not fighting.
Yeah, no, he was knocked down. And I mean, unfortunately, all my dice showed up at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened there. Like that bullet ant barrage that friggin' Ant-Man woke up with and got Panther, got Widow, and knocked down Tony. Like,
yeah,
if that had churned up like just a turn earlier,
yep.
Right? Like just a turn earlier, it would have been a very different story. And that's kind of the story of this particular game. Like I showed up a turn too late. Almost.
Sure. Yeah.
Like you started off really strong. Widow just walking up and punching Sam in the face and just knocking him out.
Which I believe is totally canonically reasonable. So.
I mean, I believe it can happen, but like, geez, I wasn't expecting that to happen. And then Vision just dominating this side of the board against Wanda and Bucky. Like that was crazy. So in a game of like a lot of really big plays, what was the standout one for you?
Well, I thought me ending the first turn with all three cores, and that was primarily Black Widow's doing, was amazing.
It was.
Despite the fact that Sit Rep is probably better as an offensive piece, I really like the fact that War Machine pulled the last core into my section of the table. I actually thought about just running away with Spider-Man because I was like, well, I have all the cores. You have to come fight me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I was not a very punchy list.
Yeah,
that was kind of problematic. You took out my big cannons really fast.
Well, and the worst thing about the story is like I definitely took a pile of damage from people like Hawkeye and Ant-Man. And
yeah, what was up with that? Hawkeye and Ant-Man were my friggin' MVPs.
Well, and I'm like, I was expecting Winter Soldier to just like dummy Spider-Man. And like, I'm like, Vision will hold out a little bit, but Spider-Man, he's got some tech, but he's not able to take on a guy with a metal arm.
Well, what was it? Round 3, I think it was, when you just did the double beam. And like the first one was like 3 damage into Bucky, and then the second one was just like there's the rest of Bucky's health. Like, that was not supposed to happen at all. I was hoping to get one more turn down of Bucky there. Because if I had gotten one more turn down of Bucky, like I was sitting on enough power that I had 2 red agents coming in that chunk.
Oh, yeah. Like I was expecting Spider-Man and potentially Vision to be just off the table after that. And the worst thing is, Vision's worst matchup is against Mystic, and of course that was Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's just like Witch had a fairly decent round turn on that particular one, but yeah, Bucky just only getting 2 activations was rough. Sam really didn't do a whole lot for me either. Cap just, I don't know what Cap was up to this game.
So I actually think that Sam did fairly okay. Like he picked up the point, even though he got dummied. He came over, grabbed other points. He was constantly forcing me to fight in the places I didn't want to fight. He changed the pacing of that battle.
The problem is he wasn't changing it in a way that was positive for my team.
I definitely felt like this area changed when Sam took his turn, whereas like Cap only did stuff on my face me turn.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like Cap in his regular turns really didn't show up and do much of anything. It would have been nice if Sam got a little bit more damage through at times as well, but like I just could not.
Well, and he was trying to throw things at Widow and Black Panther, and they both have great tech against physical attacks, right?
Well, it's adding your blanks, right?
Yeah.
And that was the problem. Like I was such a physical heavy team, and unfortunately, like I could not chew through those defenses.
And the upgrades from Tony's leadership with the counting blanks and stealth and all the shenanigans just meant that they were really, really tough nuts to crack against physical attacks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a very, very tough list. I felt strong about my team going into this, but like some of them didn't show up, and the most unexpected ones did. Like massive props to Hawkeye. He did great.
Yeah.
Ant-Man at the very end there did amazing.
Ant-Man did a little bit of causal damage in the middle here. Like he was probably the person who set Hawkeye up the most. Like I think you won this side.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like the problem is Ant-Man was all that was left standing, and Tony was just going to wake up and wreck him next turn.
Sure.
Because like I pretty much had a focused unibeam coming into his face after this.
Yeah.
More than likely, right? So it's one of those things where unfortunately like things just did not kind of go to plan, and you capitalize that, and you just ran roughshod over me this game.
I got good news. Nobody has to go to Russia now, so we're going to be fine. We're just going to fly back to the good old US of A.
Apparently, yeah. I got to give props to Vision. Every time we put him on the table, I find he's always impressive, and yet we never use him enough.
So I love his gainer attack. Like that beam is really, really good. I really don't like the Schizoid Avenger. I know it stops
Synthesoid
crits.
Avenger?
Synthesoid Avenger, yeah. But I think he's just far better just beaming people and throwing stuff at them.
He's a battery. Synthesoid Avenger is more there just as sort of like a backup, right?
Yeah.
But he also came around in a time when AMG's spenders were kind of underpowered.
Sure.
Because I think they were worried that they were going to be too powerful, and they just kind of underpowered them. But no, I mean, even just his beam with the saps and just gainer and then just throwing stuff. Yeah, no, he does absolutely great work there.
Well, yeah, I thought he was a really good piece against a lot of your team because you had a lot of physical attacks and you
Great
had
piece, yeah.
a little bit of energy, but not enough that it was scary for him.
No, he was an absolutely great piece to take in against me. Like honestly, everyone but War Machine really kind of showed up and did some good work, in my opinion.
War Machine did the thing that I most wanted him to do. He flew up into the center, grabbed a core, took one less damage than would have dazed him, and got pulled back.
Yeah, I mean, what a different story it would have been if I took out War Machine in the core early on.
Oh, it would have been rough.
So, but yeah, that's just kind of how things fall down at that points, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's an interesting team, especially once you get up to 22 threat. We had a lot of scary things on the table
yes,
all times,
did.
right?
Yeah, and I love the fact that we could play with like all the toys and just be like, well, yeah, this is the best version of Widow. I think it's one of the best versions of Spider-Man, but a lot of people like.
I like Spectacular. There he is. I like Spectacular Spider-Man. I think he's great.
I think he does everything I want a 3-threat to do, and I don't miss Amazing Spider-Man. So
I still really like Amazing Spider-Man more. I think Amazing Spider-Man is still a better piece, especially now that he's got better power generation. But yeah, I see what you're saying there. So, but yeah, no, just in general though, it was still a really great game. Yes. Obviously, it would have been nice if the dice went a little bit more in my favor there, but it is what it is, right? Like we see games like this. The curve leveled out near the end there for me. It just would have been nice to get a couple more activations with some characters.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's the way things go. But yeah, so I think that's about it. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this game. Leave your comments below, and Happy New Year, happy end of the MCP season. We will see you in the new year and with all fresh content. And of course, if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/AgesBrandStudios. See you next year. Happy wargaming.